Hey folks, welcome back to Is That Right Gaming. Today we're going to do an unboxing on Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacy. So what we're going to have here is the 2 to 4 player game, which is a smaller, quicker played version of the big 6 player Dune the board game. One of my all-time favorite games. You'll have to come back to see my top 10 games that I've played and see where exactly that falls in my top 10. A little bit of a spoiler there. So this one's Gale Force 9. It has movie stills in it. We'll flip this over. You can see that they have a beautiful board in this edition, and then different faction cards we'll take a look at. So we have: take part in one of the most famous science fiction stories of all time. In Dune, you will take control of one of the 4 great factions: House Atreides, House Harkonnen, the Fremen, the Imperium. All vying to control the most valuable resource in the universe, melange, the mysterious spice only found at great cost on the planet Dune. Ship your forces to Dune, harvest spice, seize control of desert strongholds, and destroy your enemies. Who will control Dune? You decide. Destroy your enemies, betray your allies, conquer Dune. So game design here is by Peter Alatka, Jack Kitteridge, Bill Eberl, probably messed that up, Greg Alatka, and Jack Rita. Probably should have taken the price off of it, but no big deal. This game is 30 to 60 minutes, and from my understanding, that is really close to how quickly this game plays. 2 to 4 players and recommended 12 and up. So let's find out what's in the box. We'll go ahead and get this shrink wrap out of the way. And let me know down in the comments if you've seen the new movie Dune, and what are your thoughts on the new movie? Have you seen the 1980s David Lynch version? And what do you think of that one? All right, here we go. Here's the rule book. And then you can see on here, you got all the different factions, your leaders. Picture of the game board. And it's very important to know that you have sand, rock, and then strongholds. And we'll look at that on the board. Your setup, traders. You have different people's traders in the game, so that in combat you can claim them as your trader and then just automatically win combat. It's one of my favorite abilities, and I don't think I've had it happen too many times in different games, but when it does, it's so cool, and it's very thematic. Incidentally, I think this is the Dune the board game is one of the most thematic games I've played. It really captures Dune. Spice forces. You got your turn marker, phase marker, a storm marker. It travels around the board and destroys forces out in the sand. There's a roll for a first player. And then it kind of shows this sequence of play. Storm, Spice Blow, gain cards, revival, shipping and movement, battle, spice collections. All of that will be quite similar if you've played Dune the board game. Like I said, it's really similar in how it works. It's just a shortened game. Shipping, movement, battle phase, spice collection, checking to see who wins. Leaders will be used in combat. You can kind of see a demonstration of combat here. Dialing the wheels. different faction advantages for the different factions you can play in this version. Strategies, that's always nice about Dune games, is they give you an idea of what the best ways to play are. Here you have how the two-player game works. In the two-player game, you have the Atreides and the Fremen on the same team, and the Harkonnen and the Fremen. Very thematic, straight out of the movie. Oh, a little bit of damage to my rulebook. That's a little disappointing. It came that way. You can kind of see that. That's a little disappointing. Some terms on the back too. All right, slide this out of the way. We will take a look at this beautiful new board. So, starting up here at the top, we have our spice bank over here where all the spice will be that you'll get a chance to collect throughout the game. Tleilaxu tanks, I believe that's the way that's said. Those are where troops go after they die from combat. And then down here we have the phases. Storm, Spice Blow, gain cards, Revival, where you get back troops, shipping and movement down on the shipping is to the planet, movement is on the planet, battles, and then spice collection. And you got a lot of different regions like the Polar Sink, Carthag and Arakeen are down here. It seems like it's opposite of how the Dune board game is, but then again, I could just have it upside down just because that's the way I'm looking at it. We could spin it around. That's more like the way the other one is. So, yeah. Siege Tabor, Carthag, Arakeen. So you have rocky areas across the board that are kind of safe, that are safe from the storm moving around the board. Then Polar Sink is safe as well. Then you have the strongholds, which are safe unless the shield wall gets destroyed, if that's a thing in this one. Then neither Carthag or Arakeen are safe. That's so fun when it happens, but if you own them, you're kind of like frustrated because you can't just keep them. Siege, Habanya Siege down here. And you got to control strongholds to win the game. Also, there's only 5 turns. You don't check for victory until you get to the 3rd turn. And then basically the game ends if no one has won by turn 5. And I think the way they figure out victory is first who has the most strongholds, and then there's an economic victory that's possible. So that's the board. Very cool. We'll get that out of the way. We'll come over here and see what else is in the box. So these look like player boards. Go ahead and get these open. So looks like a couple of Atreides boards here. Oh, so this is for the 2-player version. You have Atreides and Fremen together. The advantages you get where your leaders, reserves, storage, you can keep them right on the board. The faction symbols. Here's the Atreides. It shows you the leaders, storage, advantages. Very cool. There is quotes on the back. And here we have just the Fremen. You can see their leaders. Stilgar is a 7. That's pretty cool. And then some quotes on the back. The Harkonnen and Imperium. So you can kind of see some of what they get. They also say what you start the game with. Got the symbols there. The Emperor. So there you go. You can kind of see that. Hope Cloud's Observation, the Reverend Mother Mohayam, Helen Mohayam. And then the Harkonnen, the Treacherous Harkonnen. They get more traders, and they also, there's different rules for that, but it's really cool that they get to have more traders. All right, so now the punch boards we have here. You can see leaders down here at the bottom, Atreides, Harkonnen, and then different counters, spice, which some people upgrade. I've yet to upgrade mine, but it's something I've been thinking about. You can see more there. Imperium and the Fremen down here. Different counters. The good old battle wheels. So, you can see this wheel here where it shows 0 to 20. What you do in a battle is you dial anywhere from 0 to the number of forces you have in the battle. And what happens is, whatever number you dial, regardless of whether or not you win, you lose. Unless you have a traitor. And then your opponent loses all of their forces. The loser of the fight always loses all of their forces. There's a spot here where you can put your leader. And that would be these. Dr. Yui, Duncan Idaho, you can put in those spots. And they add whatever number they have to your total. And then whoever has the highest wins. And there's the second one. 2 battle wheels. A first player marker. And then there's looks to be some overlays for the different locations. The different strongholds, I should say. So there's that. Here's a storm die. You roll an 8-sided die, and then the storm moves whatever number you roll. So in this case, it would move 4. And it just moves those spaces around. These are the dial inserts so that they can turn. I like this. It is kind of cheaper insert, but it is a very nice insert. You can keep your battle wheels here. So next we'll take a look at some of the cards that are in the game. So these all say market on the back. Now I know in the base game, the Atreides can look at the cards that you bid on before you bid on them, so they can know to a certain extent what cards people get. It's a very cool ability. Some stuff we have here: weather control, motherlode, embezzle, worm sign. These are all different abilities, it looks like, that you can play throughout the game. Poison tooth, ornithopters, counterattack, plots within plots. Yeah. I don't know how well you can see those, but there's some really cool cards there. Next up, we'll take a look at trader cards. Oh yeah, we got the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen here on the backs of the trader cards. And they'll just be each one with the different movie stills. These cards do feel a little thin. Peter de Vries, Stilgar, Chani, Liet Kynes, Shadow Mapes, Jamis. So much here. Very cool. So those are your trader cards. And we'll come over here and we'll check out some more. These are battle cards. And they have a picture of Duncan. Alright. Little mishap. Battery died on the camera. But we are back with the battle cards and Duncan Idaho here. And we'll just take a quick look through here. Poison darts, Chris knife, Mala pistol, slow dart, shield, extraction fan, one-man army. Yeah, Duncan is. Reinforcements, endless ranks, Juba cloak, worthless card. Sandworm Miro, worthless card. Alrighty. These look to be the spice cards. They will tell you where spice is going to pop up around the board. And you can kind of see Paul Atreides here with spice. Also a little thematic because he has some prescience. He can see the future. It's not always perfect as to where or whether it will come to pass, but he can see into the future. So these are the different areas where it tells you. There are 2 locations, Broken Lands, Sea Lago North, and how much spice. And it'll just tell you different locations. Some of these are spread out, some are closer together. And then sandworm. Very cool, sandworm. So, that is Dune, a game of conquest and diplomacies. A smaller scale version of one of my all-time favorites. That's what's in the box. Let me know if you want to see how to play on this. I expect to get to this game to the table a lot more because it plays faster. Let me know if you want to see a review on it. It's probably pretty high up on what I want to review in the near future. So keep an eye out for that. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching Is That Right Gaming?